Filming live from the firehouse, it's Good Night with Christopher Blue. With special guest, Steele. I'm your co-host Reverb, and here's your host Christopher Blue.
Hello and welcome to Good Night with Christopher Blue. I'm Christopher Blue, and we have a wonderful show for you tonight. Tonight, our guest is a very musical guest, and I'm excited to talk with him. But, before we get to that, I'd like to thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Don't forget to click that bell so you're notified whenever we upload new content. When we come back, Steele.
Oh, hello there. I just wanted to thank you for continuing to support the show. What's this? You feel like you could do more? Let me tell you how. You can go to our Patreon. The link is in the description, and you can subscribe to any of our memberships. Why, we have memberships that allow you to see extra content. We have memberships that allow you to have your name at the end of every episode. All while you get to support the show and help us to grow. It warms my heart to know that you are out there supporting us while we are hard at work to entertain you. So, join the Patreon if you haven't already, and I'm going to get back to my jokes.
Welcome back. Tonight's guest has some very interesting things to say about being a musician. This guy has actually, he has a few albums out with his family, the Steeles. But you'll hear about that. Out of studio, take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. I am here with Brad Steele. Hello, Brad. Thank you for coming onto the show.
Man, I appreciate you having me on. It's good to be here.
Now, Brad, I wanted you on the show because you are such a talented musician, and I needed to have you on the show. It's not that I wanted it; I needed it.
I appreciate it, man. For those watching, we had to go through numerous scheduling changes because I've got a meeting to be in today, and the time for that kept getting changed, and so we were having to move stuff around. We were going to do it another time, and then that didn't work. So I'm glad we finally got it worked out.
Absolutely.
I could come on.
So, Brad, I need to know, what was it that got you into music, that made you feel like it was your calling?
Man, it was just, I don't really remember a time when I wasn't singing. I mean, I feel like I came into the world singing, and around music, my family, is a singing family, and had and continues to have a career in the gospel music world. And so I didn't really have a choice. Nobody forced me, but I mean, it was just, music was everywhere when my earliest memories of life are singing. And so yeah, it was just, I can't pinpoint a time where it was like, you know what, I'm going to sing. It was just the only thing I ever remember is singing. And the only time when I kind of gave it up was when my voice changed when I was a preteen, and I thought that in my mind I had lost my voice and couldn't sing anymore. But then thankfully over time I realized I could still sing just because my voice was deeper. It didn't mean I couldn't sing. So yeah, it's just kind of came into the world with the calling, I guess, to sing. So
Wonderful. So you actually kind of answered the next question I was going to ask, which is, growing up, I always thought I was going to get into singing, and it took a long time for me to realize that, like, I'm just okay. Was there ever a time where you doubted your talents, which you kind of already answered?
Well, I went to college for music for a couple of years, and one thing I learned is that, because you're just surrounded by a lot of talented people, talented singers, talented musicians, and you think, like, man, these people are awesome, But then you find out that they're just every night they're like, why do I suck so bad? And I'm like, I think that's just part of every musician and singer. At some point, you just have to deal with that, like, comparison to other people, and maybe you're, just not feeling good about yourself that day, whatever. But overall, I would say, other than just when my voice changed, that's really the only time that I've had a prolonged period of just like, man, I can't do it. So, yeah,
So I want to talk about your YouTube channel,
yeah,
which it's just Brad Steele, just your name, correct?
that is correct. I would have came up with something more clever, but I didn't think it was going to take off like it did. So I was just like, all right, it's just my name. So
What was your goal when starting this channel?
I mean, honestly, just to have a fun hobby. I mean, that was literally, it was right with the start of COVID and the pandemic, and everybody was just at home, kind of didn't have much to do. And I had seen some reaction videos that I'd enjoyed, and I thought, maybe I could give an interesting perspective because I sing and I write songs and all that. And so I, just filmed a video and put it out just to see I had nothing on the channel. I think I had one cover that I had uploaded 7 years ago, and it did well enough that I made another one, and made another one, and made another one. And I think it was about a month of doing that consistently before I was like, I started this as just a little hobby, as just something to do, just to see. I was like, it's growing well enough that I probably need to, stick with it, And my main goal is always to do the reaction videos as a way to build a music-centered audience so that I could then start to, factor in my own music in the middle of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And some people it annoys, but like every video I make sure to promote my own music as well, because that was the main goal in the first place. And, so that's been cool. And so I've been able to do the reaction stuff while promoting my own music as well, which was always the goal. And so, yeah, that was just kind of how it started, which is hard to believe that was nearly 3 years ago that I started doing that. But it was honestly, I know COVID was so terrible and so unfortunate and everything, but for YouTube, like that was the perfect time to get on because everybody was at home. Nobody had nothing to do. They were just at home on their computers and phones. So I probably got kind of lucky in that I just happened to get on there right when everybody was sitting in their room with nothing to do. So, yeah.
How many albums do you have out now?
Well, I have one of my own that I did probably 6 years ago, but I've been putting out singles. Kingdom of Me was one that I put out in fall of 21. That's the biggest production I've ever done. The video, the song, it's a big thing. Had a couple others. Just Be Bored was one I put out last year. Music from the Old Days was one I put out last year. I've had quite a few singles. I could probably just about make an album of just the singles I put out. And then with my family, we're signed to a label in Nashville, and I've done about 4 albums with them, 4 or 5, but we're about to put out our second one with that label next month. So yeah, that's a big part of why we had to reschedule this thing so many times, because I feel like when people ask me what I do for a living, and I'm like, man, I've got about 6 different cookie jars that I'm reaching into to kind of make a living out of all of that. And so sometimes it's hard to schedule stuff like, yeah, so I'm all in all, plenty of singles and albums and all that between myself and then my family. So
That's awesome. Are you able to perform an original song for us?
well, I can at least do a snippet. So all of my family songs are faith-based. We're very involved in the gospel music world. So I can do one of those, or I can do one of my singles, which kind of ventures over into other genres. I'll leave that up to you.
I really loved the chorus short that you released recently of The Journey.
Yeah. This one is one that me and my dad wrote with another writer in Nashville, and it is a faith-based song, but you can tell by the lyrics it doesn't have to be that. It can be just a song about life. So whatever you believe out there is fine. This is The Journey. I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here. The roads at once didn't make sense and now seem crystal clear. I know that faith is greater than doubt and love greater than fear. I'm thankful for the journey, 'cause the journey got me here. There were dark and narrow places where I crawled and where I climbed. I had to travel roads that were confusing at the time. There were nights my heart was breaking, and I thought I'd been forsaken. But I'm thankful for the journey, 'cause the journey got me here. The roads that once didn't make sense and now seem crystal clear. I know that faith is greater than doubt and love greater than fear. I'm thankful for the journey, 'cause the journey got me here. Now there are many in this moment who are walking through a fire. Let me offer hope because of wisdom I've acquired. I can trust in where the road leads, looking back at what's behind me. I'm thankful for the journey, 'cause the journey got me here. The roads that once didn't make sense and now seem crystal clear. I know that faith is greater than doubt and love greater than fear. And I'm thankful for the journey, 'cause the journey got me here.
Woo! Brad Steele, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if you can hit the keyboard that well, because as I've been telling you off camera that I've had some technical difficulties all over the place with all my stuff the last few days. So I hope you could at least hear it a little bit.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
I appreciate it.
So before we go, where can people catch your journey? Where can people hear your music and keep up with what you're doing?
Man, we're everywhere. We're of course, on YouTube. You can find some of our stuff on my channel. If you look up my name on Spotify, Apple, any streaming platform. There's so many of them. I'm not going to name them because I forget. But that song is on. So for that song, you would look up the Steeles, Steeles, and then you can just add the title of the song if you're looking for that song in particular. But the last couple of albums are the ones I'm on. So I'm partial to those. The other ones are go all the way back to like the even talking. So yeah, all of it's on there. Either Steele or the Steeles. You can look up either one.
Wonderful. We'll make sure all the links to your socials and stuff are in the description. Brad, thank you so much for coming on. It was such a delight.
Man, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you, and thank you to everybody out there for watching and listening.
All right, we'll send it back to me in the studio.
Thanks, Chris. Well, that's our show. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Don't forget to ring that bell so you get notified whenever we upload new content. Until next time, good night, my sweet baby angels. I'll see you in the future.